Nvidia is up 7.5% today, and so far everything is going according to plan with our analysis. We've been anticipating a short-term bounce, and in most cases, whenever these bounces happen, price will just sell off once again. But how do we know if this is going to be or when the real bottom is in? That's what we're going to break down in this video. If you want to set your charts up just like us, get access to the indicators, as well as a checklist of our entry and exit requirements, go sign up for our Elite Traders Playbook course. The link will be in the description, and you'll be able to learn our simple strategy in less than 30 minutes. Now let's get into the charts and start with the weekly. The weekly is one of my favorite time frames. It is, in my opinion, the strongest time frame. And the reason that we were bearish on this stock going all the way back to November, and I got a lot of slack for this, is because while we're in an uptrend and while market structure is still bullish, we began to see the BX trender on the weekly chart no longer making higher highs, but instead beginning to make lower highs. Now, the BX is this indicator at the bottom of your screen. It's basically a mix of an RSI and a MACD, but it shows buying and selling pressure. When market structure is bullish, like it was back on October 28th, we want to only be buying into strength, meaning we want to really only be buying when we see the BX begin to make higher lows and then higher highs. That is an indication, much like back here in May and back here from January to March, that price is going to break out and that we want to be buying and trading this type of market because we're within a strong bullish structure and we actually have buyers behind it. Now, the other type of market is when we're in that uptrend, but buyers are leaving. This is indicated by the BX trender actually turning red. And when it turns red, this is a very strong indication that price is either going to compress and sit sideways, which is not an environment where we want to be trading, or worst case, the price is going to pull back pretty drastically, which is what happened here so far, about a 26% drawdown. Back here from July 8th to lows of August 12th was a 29% drawdown. And then prior to that, back in March, was about a 20% drawdown. This is why I was trying to warn people, not necessarily say, hey, you should be closing out your positions or anything, but that in most cases, this is not an environment that we really want to be focusing on. Now, personally, I don't short these setups. A lot of people ask me why I don't short, and the main reason is I'm not going to short in a bullish market. Price is making higher lows each and every single time with higher highs. This is bullish structure. This is not something that I really want to short in. Instead, I want to be buying all of these dips. We teach that in detail and how to set up your smart money zones in our free smart money zone course. The types of environments where I will short a stock is when structure is bearish. For instance, back here from December 2021 to December of 2022, when we're making lower highs and lower lows, I will short that market each and every single time we pop. Now that leads us to where we are currently with Nvidia, because my worst case scenario was $100. And I still think that that is possible, but most likely over the next couple of weeks and months. I mean, the main thing that worries me at this point is a potential head and shoulders that we see here, and the fact that this monthly BX is also still making lower lows. We talked about how important that was on a weekly chart, and you can see just by, go do it yourself, set up the indicators and everything. Go back and look at the monthly for Nvidia. When it turns red, it's not good, right? Like objective. I'm not sitting here hoping Nvidia goes down. I don't have malice towards people who own this or anything. It's just when we look at the past, this is normally not a good environment to trade in. And so looking at the next 6 to 12 months, we need to really hold this level. We need to make sure that 100 holds, and we need to see this BX trender make a higher low. If the higher low happens on this weekly BX trender, then that's great. That could be the indication that this support has held and that we're going to make this breakout. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen sooner than later. So let's now move into the daily chart so we can get a better understanding of what we're looking at. You'll see that short term, we have been making bearish structure, which is not good. We can tell because if we go back to October 31st, every time that we were breaking out, price was making higher highs, would pull back into a higher low, would pull up into a higher high, pull back into a higher low. Once we stopped doing that, was here on December 16th. Once we break a recent low, this is called a break of structure. And you can see, unfortunately, the same thing was happening here that might be happening on the monthly. Price bounced, pulled back to that support level, made a higher high to the same damn support level, bounced, made an equal high to that previous, which is the shoulder, and then sold off. What's more important here is to understand that each and every single time that we have popped since, price has rejected, and then made lower highs. For those of you who have studied our Smart Money Zone courses, you will know that these would have been perfect short setups, because each and every single time that we pop, we will normally pop into the 0.826 and 0.786, which is our Smart Money Zone. And that is normally the perfect time to set up a short. Now, the other way to tell where these areas are is just by looking at the BX trender at the bottom of your screen. When the BX stops making lower lows and begins to make higher lows, this is normally an indication that price is going to bounce. Now remember, because structure is bearish, the chances of this just bouncing into all-time highs is definitely lower. I mean, anything can happen, but with this structure, it's a pretty good chance it's going to reject. So from there, we get a 16% bounce only to make a lower high on February 21st, which is like our first sign of weakness, and normally where we want to enter a short or walk away from a long. Price sells off 22% to the downside. And now, as of yesterday's session, we could have locked in, if we were getting puts, a 20% profit. And now I think what's happening is the same thing that happened back here and back here. Price has made higher lows on the BX trender. That is a very good sign. Price is probably going to pump to best case $130, maybe $127. And then if that BX starts to show weakness like it did back here on the 21st, I think that's where we could get one more sell-off to that $100 level. Now, for some of you, all of this might sound like gibberish. It might sound crazy, and it might sound like it's not something to invest your time and your energy into. But I promise you, like, understanding market structure, understanding buy-sell pressure, understanding which way the market's trading is all you need to be a successful trader. You don't have to be right all of the time. I have a 62% win rate. All that matters is that you have a system, that you follow the system, irregardless of the outcome day to day, because we know long-term we're going to be fine. And the hardest thing is adhering to the system long-term with proper risk management. I mean, you guys have just really, I hope, seen my patience, especially when it comes to Nvidia over the past couple of weeks. I mean, we called the top to near perfection back in November, and I could have opened a massive short position and done very well for myself, but I didn't. And the reason was because I don't look to short in those scenarios. My strategy is to just sit back when I see that type of setup, to wait for a pullback to a smart money zone, which is exactly what's happening here, and then wait for confirmation on a weekly BX. That's my plan. And does it mean that I'm going to make money all the time? Of course not. Does it mean that I could leave profits on the table like I have with Nvidia? Of course. But that is going to happen no matter what. If you are chasing perfection as a trader or an investor, you are only going to lead yourself into total disaster and ruin. Because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I can promise you that there's no such thing as perfection. I still fuck up every day. I still make rookie mistakes. I still have to reel myself back in from time to time. But that's the beautiful thing about this. And more so the beautiful thing about trading and investing is that 90% of this is all up here. And 90% of people have no control over what's going on up here. And so therefore, most people do really bad at this, and most people fail because it's hard. But if you are somebody who has the dedication, who has the resiliency, and can say to yourself, much like I did, which is not easy, man. Like when I started, it was really, really tough. But to say, I'm going to learn to control my emotions. I'm going to learn to control my expectations. I'm going to give everything I have into this skill, and I'm going to have a realistic expectation of what this is like. You know, in order to become a master at anything, it's going to take time. And the one thing that I've noticed the older and older that I get is I can really only be a master at this point at 37, maybe 2 more things, 3 more things in my lifetime. And the problem is, I don't think most people have the same outlook. They think that they're going to come into any new endeavor, whether it's trading, or anything and instantly pick it up and instantly be good at it. And once they're not, they throw it to the side. But that's okay, because the harder it is just an indication that less people will do it, which means there's more for us. As always, guys, thank you for all of your support. If you want to go check out all of our courses, they're completely free. Link is in the description. And if you've been trading for at least a year or have taken all those courses and you do want to trade with me every day, get access to all of our trades, all of our trading bots, all of our indicators, and live stream with me every week, then the link to our Discord community is in the description. You can get 50% off your first month by using code BX50. I'll see you guys over there.